This is Richard back at you. Today, guys, it's like 90 degrees outside. It is hot. Got the AC going in the room. Got Annie over there hanging out. We got Richard's 2012 Silverado in here, four-wheel drive, 6.0 motor. No codes at all in the computer system, but the tranny is just full of metal. I mean, it's got tons of shavings in there. You'll be able to see. Now we're going to be putting a billet converter in it from B&I over here we have on the table. You can get a hold of these guys in Oklahoma. They are really, really good. They take care of us really well. So you can talk to Bill or James or anybody over there. They're all very knowledgeable on when you talk to them. So, but anyway, we got all of our parts that we're going to be putting in it. We got a new computer for the tranny. We got a complete overhaul kit with steels. We got our pump kit. We got our Transgo kit. We got our Transo TCC kit. All the bonded pistons. The kit will actually come with new snap rings in it too for all the drums and stuff. Now, not the big ones, just the small snap rings. So, other than that, let's get this thing apart. We already know it's probably going to need a bell housing and a pump stator and all that type of stuff, but just standard procedure, it seems like.
Nowadays, huh?
Yes.
Sorry.
You can see this thing has got a lot of trash just laying down in everywhere. You can see it. A lot of metal. So this does have a tail housing O-ring here. Got your bushing, your seal. And this is a two-wheel drive. So you can look at the hub and stuff like that. There's really never any wear here. The pump bushing is like 1.5 inches wide, a massive pump bushing in this thing. It's got a JMBX torque converter. Now we'll ship these back to B&I. They'll come and get our cores. Actually, they just left today. They will put a bill of backings on them and a piston and change the clutch and stuff like that. And we'll get them back. So. Yep, this thing is nasty.
This is when you want one of them little girls to video.
Yeah. You know, it doesn't really smell really, really bad. But you can see the metal in this, dude, guys.
It's kind of hard with a lot.
That magnet's twice the size it should be.
Not as bad as that one magnet.
No. And we get them in here
Like
looking
a
pretty
donut.
bad, yeah. Get this filter off here. Of course, the filter is going to be just totally full of metal. You can just pour it out of it. Be a good looking paint job on a car if you could figure that one out. All the metal, look at this. So this thing's been having problems for quite a while. That's what's bad about electronics is they will just keep working until the tranny cannot work anymore. I mean, so. That little connector's got a lock on it right there. Keeps it from coming unplugged. Get our detent spring here off, and then we have our park reverse switch here. Multiple different bolts to this tranny, so you can have 8s, you can have 7s, you can have 10s. So, I mean, multiple. Get this turned over this way here. Now this is the lock that locks your connector right here where your plug-in from your computer harness from the vehicle plugs into. Now what you can do, you come here and kind of unlock this, pull it up, and you kind of tap on this just a little bit and loosen it up. You get you a pair of channel locks here and you just kind of grab it and kind of wiggle it and pull it right out. It comes out real easy. You don't have to force it or anything. Now if you don't tap it, and loosen it up, it's tougher to get out, believe me or not. So make sure you tap it. It makes a big difference. I mean, you can break it if you don't. Now, these bolts here mount the valve body to the case. Now these are a special bolt. I have a little socket kit over there. You can see what it looks like. Somebody told me to take and grind this and kind of sharpen it. It's got an inward dimple. There's not much teeth to grab onto on these bolts. I mean, they just don't make them very tall. So. I believe I got them all. Now we know this thing is going to be a mess. Like I said, we'll be replacing the complete transmission controller and the solenoid pack as one. Move this down a little bit. See, I don't know why they made these an 8 and them a 7. Now all these bolts do here is just pull it up to the side, to the valve body. Now when you put this back together, you want to just not even snug these, you just want to barely pull it up and then torque it here and then torque these last. This impact's so new, the anvil clip is really tight still. Now you'll have 10s all across the top, and then you'll have your 7s along the bottom here, and then you'll have 2 8s here on the side. So, get our speed sensor unplugged. I forgot to unplug it, but just push in here and you can just pull it right out. Get out of the way. Like I say, usually this is just full of metal through here. I mean, this thing is totally contaminated, even on the pillow switches here and stuff. See all the metal just setting everywhere. Now we'll put a new one of these in and we'll send this back as a core and then they'll rebuild it or whatever they do. But the identification number is right here. Every time I order one, they ask me for that number. Makes it easier on them. They say you can get these from TransStar. Really good guys over there. I think got 110 here, might as well get it out of the way. Say this anvil is still really tight. Plus my gloves are slippery and these sockets are really, really slippery. Makes you wonder if they ain't got something in this oil, because it's almost slipperier than usual.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I really can't grab anything.
Probably.
Maybe they put an additive in here.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's really slippery. So we have a 10 millimeter here, and then we have our 7s through here. These are all the same length, but you got an oddball here. Excuse me, where'd it go? Right there. Goes on top of the little mountain right here. You can kind of remember that. Look at all the metal on top of here. This will be one of the ones that takes you 2 hours longer because you're in here with a pick, scraping every crack and crevice to get the metal out of it. So these things will go a long ways making metal until they're just done. You got your case of valve body seals here and here, and then you have one here. So they'll come in your overhaul kit over here from TransStar. And you can just see, look at the metal in here too, Teresa. Look at all that metal sticking to the, and that's steel. It's not aluminum because the screwdriver's magnetic. It's physically picking it up, so it's physically metal, not aluminum. So.
Say, yeah, we like carnage.
Yeah. It just takes longer to build them. Stuff like that. I mean, these things take a lot of time. But basically, we'll clean all this out real good. Put our Transgo kit in here in the valve body. And just like I said, these two valves will replace, depending on what valve body plate we have, whether we'll change the springs or not in here. Just look at your kit. It'll tell you. Always take a Scotch-Brite too and go over this and try to knock the edges down on it. Got your plate here. Now this is a bonded gaskets on the plate. Your Transgo kit will ask you to identify this right here to determine, I believe, your springs here. So that's something you're going to look at in the kit.
Got that line right there.
You can see it. Here you have your check balls. 1, 2, 3. Be one here. 4, 5, 6, 7. One does not go here. The Transgo valve body instructions will have an X right there telling you not to put one there. And your kit will come with new check balls. And then your kit will come with additional instructions to change this valve here, I believe. Clean this up really good. It's going to take a lot of cleaning. Hours. I did a 47 RE the other day. It took me 9 hours to put together because it was so bad. We actually made a video on it, and y'all got to see how bad it was. But let me tell you, it took me forever to get that thing clean. But it worked really nice. The customer come all the way in from Mexico, didn't he, Teresa?
Yeah.
Yes. And it worked really nice. So. Took a lot to get the cooling system clean. Let me tell you, our cooling machine worked overtime. Our bell housing bolts. Get in here and get our lockup O-ring off. Your kit will come with a brand new one. I think that's pretty fragile. Probably been really, really hot. Now your front seal on these does have a snap ring you have to take out to get the front seal out. You can see it right there. And these seals, they come out easy and they go in. You can put them in with your thumb. In the new bell, you just go pop, pop, push it in, and then just put your snap ring in. I mean, seriously, you think it would leak like crazy, but it doesn't.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean. We're starting to struggle on bushing kits and stuff for these things.
Well, we're not, but our parts supplier
Yes,
are.
yeah.
That's the problem.
So it trickles down.
Okay.
hard to get these jobs out to, I mean, in a
Timely manner.
yeah, in a timely manner. I mean, 'cause we have parts coming in all over the world. It seems like, seriously, all over the United States for dang sure. And we're buying twice as much. If he's got 10, we buy 15. So, holding a lot more money in parts for stock, everything. Every time you buy all the parts just for one of these units and keep enough in stock to do 5 or 6, I mean, you got some money hanging out there. So now this pump stator is doweled, so it's got a dowel pin. It'll slide around like that, and then we have our alignment tool that goes around it. My tools are still put up, but there's a band that goes around here that lines it, and then you set it down and torque it. But what do you think, guys? Is it destroyed with that much metal in the pan?
Yeah.
Are you ready? Okay, let's see what it looks like. You'd be surprised sometimes. Literally be surprised.
But not this.
Not this time. I mean, if that had stopped a couple weeks ago, maybe, you know, they probably might have not done this.
But like most people, they need their vehicles.
They need their vehicle. Hard to give them up.
It's hard
I
to
mean,
let it
it's hard
go.
for us to give our vehicle up.
Sure.
You know, we need to just do something minor, you know. So we have a brand new pump kit that we put in all these. We got a new bell housing and pump stator over here on the shelf. So then we will put even though the pump stator comes with all brand new valving, we'll put our Transgo kit in the pump stator right off the bat. We won't use the stock stuff in there. We'll go ahead and update it to the complete kit. So. Look here, like I say, you really don't see the failure. I mean, the converter has to take it out every time. I mean, every time. You got your pivot pin for your slide. It's a bad deal. But, I mean, simple fix, and these things will last a long time. You know what's crazy? This gentleman here's got 214,000. You know, that's a lot of mileage. But you can see it's rutted.
Yeah.
All that metal down in that
Even
stuff.
before you cleaned it off.
Yeah, it's really bad. So, now being that this thing has had a lot of metal, you know, the filter stopped up and they drove it, and the pump starved for pressure. The whole tranny starved for pressure. So we're probably going to see some burnt clutches and stuff in here. Just for that reason. Not so much that we have cracked pistons or anything like that, but you definitely want to check for that type of stuff. You want to look at your sun gear, make sure it ain't been hot on either side. You don't really see any wear there, very seldom. Same way with your planets. And it's a 90. It's got 6 pinion planets and stuff in it. Still want to look for any wobbling or anything like that, any pitting where it's run over that metal. Of course, we have a bearing down in here. You want to check for cracks down here in here, because we do have our clutch burn up here. It's just totally burnt up. Now we do have all new bonded pistons for this, new bushings. Your kit comes with a new snap ring. I'm going to change your sealing rings here. Look at your ring gear here for any type of wear. Really clean down in here. I mean, get a lot air pressure, solvent, or whatever it takes. If you have to take that ring gear out or whatever, get all the metal out of there. I mean, there is a ton of it. Oops. Our third, fifth, and reverse clutch. I mean, all the seals are really shiny. You can tell they slipped this tranny, you know, to make a shift. They're really not short shifts. They're pretty soft. So. Now, when you put this tranny back together, you'll want to find this right here where this snap ring doesn't have a place for it, or this drum doesn't have a place for this snap ring. So if you put this snap ring in over that, you're going to have a problem. See, like this, you put it in like, because you can do it. Anybody can do anything nowadays, let me tell you. See that right there? Let me slide this way and it makes it even worse. See? Because the drum's physically not cut out for it to go have a place to go. See?
Yeah.
So you have to put the end of the snap ring right there and like that, and leave this opening right there. So. Always keep your snap rings with your clutch packs, because they are different thicknesses and they will interchange. So you gotta be really careful. Get your clutch here. Same way, all these steels are really shiny. See, all your bushings need to be replaced. Now we do have special bushing driver kit for this, just for this tranny, because I believe all the bushings in this unit but one are stepped, so they're below surface here. So you got to be really careful. And if you try to use just a standard bushing driver kit, you will probably just tear the bushings all up. I mean, because I've tried putting them in before and it just won't work. You have to buy the kit. So look for here anywhere where your clutch goes. You have a small bearing down in here. You want to look for any wear here, because you have a bushing right down in here where that sets. So, I think my air conditioner just dripped on me. A lot of metal gets down in here too, guys. You want to clean this really good with air and solvent. There's a lot of it setting in there. You get your shells here. Scotch-Brite all this stuff up here and here. I don't see any wear. Look for wear here. Looks really good here. Have a bearing down in here. You want to look at the rollers on the bearing, make sure it's not pitted. Now normally we see wear here sometimes. You always want to Scotch-Brite this stuff up. You have a dotted dimpled bushing, I call it here, and then you have a standard bushing here that's just got some grooves in it, okay? Will they interchange? I've never tried it. I just know to put them in the right holes and make sure that you use the right bushing driver to put them down in there at the right depth. So, just by putting one bushing in wrong in this tranny, you could make one of the biggest mistakes, because this thing here, I mean, it'll just grind it up. Costly. So, you want to do these one time only. I'm telling you, that thing right there.
Better and better.
I mean, that's a snap ring right there. Let me tell you. Got our 2.6 clutch out here. Let me try to air check just a little bit before I start taking it apart. So you can come in here and air check your feed holes to both these clutches. Now you will have some air bleed right here through these pistons, or not pistons, but plugs here. They have little tiny holes in them to bleed. So when you air check, you can put your finger over here and actually hold the clutch pretty tight, and you can tell if you got any leakage or any type of cracks or anything like that. So, but usually if you got cracks, the clutches are going to be burned up, but you still always want to check it. See, no burnt clutches here. Just real shiny steels. They really slip the clutches on these things to make them shift soft. I mean, they really do too much control. I'd rather feel them a little bit more, I think.
Yeah.
You know, these things are really soft shifters. So we have our low reverse clutch here. It's weird, you know, all these clutches in this tranny, each one's got its own different material. You know, they change the material up in these units so much too, just to make each clutch work to their liking. Got your big one-way sprag assembly here. Now this is a dual sprag. It's got two sprags built in one in a row, side by side, so it's a big, massive sprag assembly. But you got to take all this apart, get every bit of that metal out of this thing, because it's all through this tranny. I mean, there's a ton of metal in this thing. Bearing here, like so all these bearings are going to have to be checked or replaced. Look down in here into your case. I mean, we very seldom ever see really case wear till we got to throw the case away or anything like that. We don't have case bushing failure back here, so I mean, you just don't really have any issues there. Now, if the case breaks or cracks or something, but of course we have this massive planetary system back here. Now, you have a bushing back in here. You have this snap ring right here. Take this ring gear out right here, guys, because let me show you how much metal's in this thing. This thing will have a ton of metal behind this back in here. And if you don't get it out, that new fluid you're putting in this thing will take it right out. Massive ring gear. It's round on this side, square on this side. Look at your spacer here. Put it right back in the way it goes. But if you look down in here, look at all that metal. All that's down in here. So you really got to take these things apart and clean to get all the metal out of these things. If not, it's going to bite you. So it will bite you. Big old massive planetary. Now this outer ring gear here is designed on different on two ends. I mean, you can see the difference. Flat here, got like a bevel. Flat goes down. Don't get them mixed up. Look at this big old planetary. Make sure the teeth ain't bad or washers tore up or anything like that. It's hard to inspect them, you know, but just got to clean them up and slowly move it around and look at everything. You can't take it apart any more than what it is right here to clean this planet up, so it's kind of hard to do it, but you just got to take your time to get it out because there's a ton of metal in this thing too. So guys, this is going to be a fun one to do, definitely. Teresa, I want to thank you for recording. And boy, guys, we got a ton more going, a ton. So y'all stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. We got a lot of show to go. Y'all have a great day.